coming to the very, very, very first Bob James Jazz Festival. Hope you enjoy the evening. Playing keyboards for you this evening is going to be Mr. Ryan Howard from Kansas City. A long time ago, he too was a student of mine. Playing bass is Mr. Bill McCamey, also from Kansas City. And playing guitar is from the world famous and the one of only 3 guitarists ever from the world famous Count Basie Orchestra, Mr. Will Matthews. My name is Clarence Smith, and an incredible talent, and saxophonist and singer, also from Marshall, Missouri, Mr. Joe Athon.
Thanks once again. We started off, that was a composition called Grease, which was actually composed by Mr. Will Matthews as well. Well, thanks again for having us here. We're going to play a variety of different kinds of jazz. Hope you enjoy yourself. We're going to keep things going now with a song made famous by a trumpet player called Dizzy Gillespie. And we're going to get Latin and swing and all of that stuff in here for you. A Night in Tunisia. You're a dream of heaven, and you've been searching the skies above. Maybe it's best that I told you that Tunisia's what you're dreaming of. You deny that they had never seen it. Little people round up in the sky. But I see myself. I see 1,000 little people. Every time I look at you, my name is die. Saw an Eskimo climbing up a moonbeam. Dizzy started playing Serengeti. I saw chicken with lips, snake with hips, elephant wings, all in wings. That's just why I'm around today. But now I'm going lonely, I'm just ready for love. I don't want to hesitate, eat chicken each day, no juice every day. Yeah, you know, I think I'll leave here right away. But you found love, you long for under the Tunisian skies. It's so cool to be back in Marshall, and you know, it's amazing when I tell folks about this little burg where I grew up that there's always been this commitment to culture and the arts, and it kind of comes in spurts and sometimes, but you know, we've had this little Philharmonic Orchestra for a long time here, and now this is just a wonderful thing, and really, I know that Clarence and I are both real proud to be part of this first ever annual Bob James Jazz Festival. We sure do hope it keeps going. You know, part of that longevity, and not only just great band programs and music programs, but there's a great tradition of singing and choir programs here in Marshall that I was always a part of. And for about a quarter century, there's been this tradition here in Marshall. Many of you probably are familiar with it, but they call it the Pop Assembly. Has anybody ever heard of it? So that's kind of where I cut my teeth, right, singing in front of groups and such. So whenever I was a freshman in high school, I auditioned and I got a song, which was quite a big deal, right? Got a freshman to get that. Does anybody remember what that was? What that song was? What?
Word Up.
It was, that's right, Word Up, right? Anybody remember? So there's an interesting tie-in that that's a song by a band called Cameo, which Mr. Ryan Howard actually used to play with that group, so there you go. That's a long way around the horn for that thing. I recently produced a CD. It's kind of a mix of jazz and R&B and some pop elements. And this is one song that I wrote after hearing about the passing of a lady who was really a sweetheart of a person, but a great singer that was very popular in Kansas City. Her name was Rosetta Robinson, and I got a chance to perform on stage with her many, many times. I unfortunately didn't hear about her passing until, you know, after, as sometimes things happen and life goes on, but the band leader called me and kind of chastised me for not knowing that, said I should have read the paper. But so I couldn't have been there for all the ceremonies and that sort of thing. But I did write this song in her honor, and I kind of like to think of it in terms of a celebration for all the great Kansas City jazz musicians who have passed. It's called Rosetta. Rode to the club to try to get our head about it, Bob, trying to make the scene. And we were gone, there's a band that will be blowing, and Rosetta would be the queen. But when we hit the door, everybody's head sang like a dark and stormy day. The bartender was crying as she pulled my eyes on mine. This is all she had to say. Said, please your glass red to Rosetta. You know she's the one who sang the song. Every woman, oh, won't you hear me cry? Please your glass red to Rosetta. You know she's the one who sang the song. But every sophistication is something you really know. A singer in a city and a lady who was pretty in a place we all will go. So get yourself a in the devil, better yet, sweet Malumbo. You know all but when you're laughing or you're crying, music in your eyes, music knows you the way to go. So raise your glass of a bread to Rosetta. You know she's the one who sang the song. Everyone, don't you hear me cry? Raise your glass of a bread to Rosetta. I got into jazz at a very young age because I happened to have this this teacher in this little country, learned from the country teacher, not the country preacher, but he was passionate about this jazz stuff, right? And it was this guy right here, Clarence Smith. And so a young, enthusiastic, recent graduate of Central Methodist College came and landed his first teaching gig right here in Marshall, Missouri, his hometown. And in fact, so deep was the passion for jazz, and particularly the Basie paradigm, that Mr. Smith spent the entire first year's budget to bring the Count Basie Orchestra right here to Marshall. And they played at Beaker Middle School, at the former high school, and it was a reckless and dangerous academic move, but financially reckless. But I'll tell you what, it got me hooked. And it was just after Basie had passed away, and Fred Green was still in the band, and I remember that you could feel it. You could feel him, and he had this certain way of playing and the style that he developed that was just, it made it swing so hard. And I've been hooked ever since. So I think it's money well spent, myself. And you know, the epilogue is that there were some great altruistic folks here in the community that came in and kind of, can I say bailed you out? Is that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Kathy Green in the audience.
Kathy Green, tip of the cap to her. But so to come full. Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Yeah. I want you to fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore.
I I couldn't be more proud of the community that I grew up in. How many communities have city-supported classical ensembles? I mean, when I was in the community band here in the orchestra, I got a check, you know, and I don't know what percent of a penny of, you know, goes to taxes towards, you know, the community orchestra and the community band, but it's amazing to have that. And here at Missouri Valley College, I know the choir has been solid for many years, and now under the direction of Mr. Gary Anders, there's a wind ensemble or a concert band and a jazz ensemble. So spread the word. You know, get people to concerts all the time. I don't care if it's. Thank you, Marshall, Missouri, for doing such a great thing. I know next year it's going to be even bigger. Hopefully, Mr. Robert James will be able to come. But really, from the bottom of my heart, and I know I speak for Joe and the rest of the Miss Dyer, who's going to be on the stage, and Marshall Native, she's going to be singing for you in just a second. We all think it's a very cool thing. We've all talked about it, and we're just very proud to be associated with the community and the efforts that you're doing in supporting the arts and especially jazz.